Hello and welcome to Toby's Blog. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 evil Time Lords in Doctor Who history. So with the reveal, spoilers, if you haven't watched the Interstellar Song Contest, do not watch any more of this video until you have. Thank you. So with the reveal that the Rani has returned in Doctor Who, then I want to make a video for all my top 10 villainous Time Lords in Doctor Who history. And when I was making a list, these are the only Time Lords I could think of. So if I've missed out any, I'm very, very sorry. This was a quick list and a quick video idea to do. So here we go with my number 10 villainous Time Lords. Was Rassilon. Now Rassilon was put at the end because meh, it's Rassilon. You know, there's not much to say about Rassilon. He was a Time Lord. He was one of the founders of the Time Lords. He imprisoned Barusa in the tomb of Rassilon, and he came back as a massive villain in Big Finish when they brought him back with the resurrection thingy-majiggy in Gallifrey Time War. Brought him back to life, and then he had grandeurs of power, like I am the founder of the Time Lords, need to be president of Gallifrey, I am in charge of Gallifrey, etc, etc, etc. And so as a villain I can't remember much about him. He's a meh, so he's at the bottom of the list, but he is the founder, one of the founders of Gallifrey. At number 9 is a also not so memorable Time Lord in regards to villainy, is Barusa, who tried to get immortality so he could progress his lives and go on and do so much more with his life as he was president. So he started off good, then he turned to be bad, just for the sole purpose of extending his life, but at the same time he put lots of people in danger by putting them into the death zone. And also he killed the Castellan. Then he killed the Castellan. So he is kind of evil in that respect, but you know, there we go. At number 8, a villain who is more memorable, and he is the War Chief. So the War Chief was a really good villain. You know, it's the first time we kind of saw another evil Time Lord, and he was with the Warlord, killing all these people, and it was his technology that actually brought about the war games and everything. So he is quite a villainous Time Lord, but at the same time he had that kind of master aspect, you know, that kind of villainy and cunning and that kind of personality which I kind of really liked in an evil Time Lord. So yeah, so that was good. So that's why I think he, and also that kind of hinted in the colorization of the war games that he was the master, and that he regenerated into the master afterwards, after he got shot. But I thought he was quite a good villain, and he was quite enjoyable to watch. His presence in the episode was quite good as well. So I kind of liked watching the War Chief. Now as we move up the list, we're going to 7, and at number 7 is Morbius. So Morbius was a fantastic villain from the Tom Baker era, with Morbius being the ruler of the galaxy and kind of having so much villainy, and he was so feared by so many people, and the Sisterhood of Khan are frightened of him, and they killed him, and he was dead. And like, I just love the Morbius's presence and the kind of idea behind him. We didn't really see much of that in the classic series of his domination of the galaxy, which should be good to kind of if they explore that in the new series. But also I know they have explored it a lot in the Big Finish. So you know, I haven't really listened to some of them. I bought the first Morbius set, like the first episode of it, but then because you could buy about 3 or 4 more, you know, it's like I couldn't be bothered to, it didn't hook me enough to want to buy the other 2. So I listened to the first one. It was okay, but you know, it's like, but that was more like him coming back, Morbius coming back from the brain of Morbius from there onwards, and not the actual before the brain of Morbius, the conquest of the galaxy. That would be quite cool to see. But Morbius is a good villain. I love his, and like, you know, I feel like when the villains, when they're over the top and camp, you know, like I am like he has some such memorable lines in the brain of Morbius. I'm of the Time Lord of the first rank. What are you?
Trapped like this, like a sponge beneath the sea. Yet even a sponge has more life than I. Can you understand a thousandth of my agony? I, Morbius, who once led the High Council of the Time Lords and dreamed the greatest dreams in history, now reduced to this, to a condition where I envy a vegetable.
That kind of lines that I kind of love in the brain of Morbius. And so he is a really good villain, but I just wish we saw a bit more of him in Doctor Who, more before and his conquest of the galaxy. At number 6 we have, going to another dramatic Time Lord, and it is Omega. So yeah, there's a rumour that Omega might be returning as the Unholy Trinity in Doctor Who. So we're going to cover Omega and his envelopment. So he invented time travel for the Time Lords, and as a result of his experiments and giving Time Lords time travel, he was trapped in a universe of antimatter. And Omega's character is very much like, yes, I was a founder of the Time Lords and I was betrayed by the Time Lords. So Omega doesn't like the Time Lords and he's betrayed and he's trapped in this universe, and his character is kind of like him trying to escape and get back into our universe. And he was played amazingly the first time in Three Doctors by Stephen Thorne with his really booming, iconic voice. And he voiced Azal as well. So really good booming voice, really good character, and over the top, dramatic. And there were some amazing moments in that. We then saw him again in the Arc of Infinity, and he was quite good in that as well. The mask and everything, it was quite weird, and then he became human, and I kind of liked the idea that all he wanted was just to become human again, just to come back into our universe. And those moments in the Arc of Infinity where he actually becomes human and is a copy of the Doctor's body, and he's walking around Amsterdam, and that moment where he's looking at the music box thing and he's just enjoying life. And I thought this is so beautiful for him, because he's been trapped so long in this antimatter universe, and now he's free and he's human again, and he's just going around enjoying life again, and then suddenly it reverses back again and he's returned back into antimatter or dies or whatever it is that happens to him. And I feel that Omega is a good character, and it's kind of sad, you know, that moment in Arc Infinity where he's like, I got life, I'm finally back, and then it's like, no, and then it's kind of sad. In at number 5 for my Villainous Time Lords is the darker side of the Doctor, the Valeyard. Now the Valeyard was quite a cool invention, and I do love Trial of the Time Lord. It's one of my favourite 6th Doctor series, and it was amazing, played by Michael Jaston. He was an amazing character, and there's like villainy as well, and I love that the Master didn't like him as well, and like the Master and the Valeyard kind of work off to each other. And I just thought the Valeyard was a great villain, the darker side of the Doctor, even though we've never revisited it again. It's a shame that it hasn't been brought back in the new series, the darker side of the Doctor. We did have like the Dream Lord thing, but no, like he's not, we never got it back in the main series, and it's a shame because he was such a good villain. Michael Jaston, unfortunately, is dead now, but you know, there could be another incarnation or another regeneration. Do the darker side of the Doctors get regenerations? I don't know. It may have a die regeneration. Oh, God, not that thing again. But you know, and like Big Finish have gone into it. You can watch the last of the 6th Doctor's adventures, or whatever it's called, something like that, and it goes through the Valeyard's the Doctor's encounters with the Valeyard, and then the eventual regeneration of the 6th Doctor. And the regeneration of the 6th Doctor was as a result of the meddling of the Valeyard, and so it's really cool. So just go and listen to that if you want more of the Valeyard. But yeah, I wish they would bring the Valeyard back, because that is an interesting element of Doctor Who, the darker side of the Doctor. In at number 4 is a Villainous Time Lord that has not appeared at all in the classic series or the new series, but has in fact appeared in Big Finish, and I thought it's an amazing, great creation. I always love listening to these stories, and this is going to be and in at number 4 is the 11 entity. It's hard to understand, like, how do you call this Time Lord? What's his name? Because he has so many names, you know, like the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10th and the 11. So for this reason, I'm going to call him the 11, because that is the incarnation he is in a lot in Doctor Who, in Big Finish. But for you who don't know what on earth I'm talking about, the 11 is a Time Lord, but each of his regenerations is still in his head, alive as a personality. So each version of the 11 has all the voices of all his previous incarnations alive in his head, so they constantly talk all the time. And so he'll be having a conversation, and like two will come up and start talking, and then like, you know, and it's weird to talk about, like two would come to the front, and then he would be able to talk with the body, and two talks, and then like five could come forward, and then five would talk, and then it could go back to the 11, and the 11's conscious would come to the front and he would talk. You know, it's like that. And it's a really rare Time Lord condition where all his incarnations are present in his mind at the same time. But the 11 is such a villainous character, and you know, all his different incarnations have different levels of villainy. There is one good one, I think, number 8 or something like that, but the rest are like really evil, villainous characters, and they're always cunning, they're always villainous, they're always dangerous. And because of this psychotic thing in the mind of the 11, you know, with all his other incarnations constantly in the background, and he's like psychotic in that respect, but then also he's also more villainous as well, because he has all those evil incarnations all active at the same time, so they're all pulling their weight or trying to get control of the body. And so, you know, it's like that's that kind of really creepy aspect of it. So I really like the creation of Big Finish of this 11 Time Lord, and it's a shame they don't create more Time Lords. But the one they did make, this 11 entity thing, is a really good creation. I really do like it, and I like listening to all the other ones. You could listen to a Big Finish of like the 9, so like the 9th entity of this Time Lord, or the 11th entity of this Time Lord. 11's got quite a few, but there's lots of different ones you could listen to. But it's hard to describe this character, because the name of the character is the entity that he's in. It's the incarnation he's in at the time, so it's the 2, the 1, the 5, the 11, and so it does get a bit confusing when you're trying to listen to it. Anyway, in at number 3, but this is the monk, the meddling monk. And I do love the meddling monk. I always love it when he comes in, especially when he's in one of my favourite stories, which is the Dalek Master Plan. But like the Time Meddler as well, you know, like his meddling, his cunning, and made amazingly by the actor who played him. And it was an amazing villain. And you know, I love the way that he's like cheeky and kind of so full of himself, and you know, kind of his backwards and forth with the Doctor, and you know, like that he's not really a villain, but he's kind of meddling, and you know, it's like he's just a Time Lord, just kind of having fun, just meddling with things, you know, like he's one of those fun kind of Time Lords. He's kind of meddling, but he does villainous things, especially in Big Finish. But you know, like it's also he's also a fun character as well, which is also I love. That's why I love the monk, because kind of a fun character. And in Big Finish, played amazingly by Rufus Hound. Like, if anyone is to play the monk in the new series, it has to be Rufus Hound. He is an amazing actor, and he really plays the monk amazingly. And I always love to listen to his performances as the monk, because he's always amazing and creative, and just his personality. I watched Rufus Hound in The Wind and the Willows, the musical, and like that old chap, you know, the way he talks, like Toad talks, like, oh, that's all right, oh, old chap, and all that sort of thing. Like his kind of personality and that kind of really suits the monk, you know, like upper class, posh, you know, kind of Londoner sort of thing. And it really goes well with the monk's character. And like in other incarnations of the monk, I think there has been in the 8th Doctor series, that you know, he does villainous things, and like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the monk does do something really bad, which really bad, which makes the Doctor really hate the monk. something that the monk did really affected the Doctor's family. So that is a thing. Listen to season 4 of the 8th Doctor Adventures and you know what I'm talking about. But he does something really bad that eventually creates something, that events that happen that really hurt the Doctor. The Doctor really hates the monk because of that. And I think that's a shame, because not a shame that happens, but a shame that the Doctor Who does not acknowledge Big Finish at all. So if the monk does come back, that whole arc of the Doctor hating the monk for that thing that happened is not going to happen in New Who, which is a shame. But yeah, the monk is a really good character and I love the monk. Coming in to our top 2, and it's no surprising what's going to be the top 2, because they're the 2 main Time Lord villains that have ever happened in Doctor Who. Once I say the next one, you're going to obviously know what the number top version is, but here we go with number 2, and it is the Rani. Of course it's the Rani because the top spot goes to the big man himself. But you know, the Rani is an amazing character. I love her personality. I love the way that Kate O'Mara brings the character to life, that she is a villainous Time Lord, but she does it for scientific reasons, that she doesn't do it for conquest or wanting control over the galaxy. It's just science, rooted completely in science, and her experiments are completely unethical, but the core of her personality is that she is rooted to science and scientific experiments, and she doesn't care about what the Master cares about, is conquest and power. She doesn't care about that at all. She just cares about her scientific experiments, which I think was really good for her character. And Kate O'Mara played her so amazingly in the classic series. And like, I've been watching reviews of the Interstellar Song Contest episode, and people were dissing the Time and the Rani so much as like one of the worst Doctor Who episodes of all time. Like, not really. Like, Kate O'Mara was amazing in that. Yes, the story might not have been very strong, but still Kate O'Mara was amazing in that as the Rani, and she was in Dimensions in Time as well, and you know, and she was brought back in Big Finish, played by another actress. But now she's played by this new actress, which looks quite cool, and Miss Flood. But as I said in my previous video, I don't really class Mrs. Flood as the Rani because she doesn't really have any Rani-isms, and she doesn't embody the character of the Rani, which I feel like this new actress who came through does embody the new Rani. And so yeah, the Rani is a really good character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her in the new series finale, and so that's really cool. And now we move to our number 1 spot. Like, out of the top 10 villainous Time Lords, who could it be but the Master? The Master is such an iconic Doctor Who villain, such an iconic evil Time Lord, and he's like the epitome of a evil Time Lord, and he is amazing in all his incarnations, from the very start back with Roger Delgado all the way up Anthony Ainley. Both played them amazingly well. We have like amazing masters like Missy as well. I adore Missy. Like Missy, Michelle Gomez is an amazing actress, but she really embodies the madness and the craziness of the Master and the villainy of it. I think she embodies, like, if we're going down the silly line, I think she did it better than John Sim. I really don't like John Sim's Master, but I do like Missy because she has that, I don't know, is it the costume, the mannerisms, the flair? You know, I kind of like Missy more. One of my other favourite masters of all time is the War Master, played by Derek Jacobi. Derek Jacobi is such a really good master, and he really embodies the Master, and his Master is so good. And you can watch him, listen to him on Big Finish because his Master is amazing. My other favourite Master is Geoffrey Beaver's Master, the Crispy Master, you know, because his voice is so, I am the Master and I will destroy you, that kind of really deep voice, which is so, I am the Master. You know, it's so cool and so creepy, and in Big Finish, his Master is so creepy. He's one of my favourites in Big Finish because his voice is so iconic and so creepy. I love his Master so much. And there's been so many Masters throughout the decades of Doctor Who. But yeah, some of my favourites are Missy, the War Master, Anthony Ainley, of course, Roger Delgado, and Geoffrey Beevers are my favourite masters, and this is so good. And it's always good when the master comes up, because one, he's really wacky and crazy, and he likes playing the long game as well, so you know, he could be in it for a long time. And I just love his schemes, his presence. It's always exciting when you get a master episode, and I just love it. So there we go, that's my top 10 evil Doctor Who Time Lords. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe down below. I love to see your comments, positive comments, and if you do like this video, I will make some more. But please like and comment down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.